And good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Matt Ferguson with complete coverage of this winter storm that is moving through our state today. Started out this morning with a mix of snow and sleet. Most of us right now seeing all freezing rain. However, there has been some sleet and snow mixing in at times. We're going to start today's coverage in Rockbridge County, the Lexington area, seeing sleet and freezing rain right now. Let's head outside live to Dave Tate, who is live in Lexington. How are those roads?
Well, I'll tell you what, we have a lull in the precipitation right now, Matt, but it doesn't mean those roads are in very good shape. In fact, I got with me Emergency Management Director Robert Forsman, who has been out on the roads all morning. Robert, talk a little bit about how things are going out there for you, how it's progressed through the morning.
Well, early this morning, about 8 o'clock, is when the real precipitation started, and we knew that it was going to start off as sleet and possibilities some snow, so it's pretty much on track. With what they're seeing. The roads are becoming very slick, and they're going to continue to deteriorate throughout the day. And I don't want people to get lulled into a false sense of security, because when the freezing rain starts, that's when it's going to become very, very dangerous, and also the possibility of power outages.
And that's one thing that was happening later on today, Robert's warning us about, is that freezing rain. But I was just out on the interstate earlier today, 15 minutes ago, and I had a couple different times where I was having major issues getting on and off of the interstate. Very slick. The bridges also have quite a bit of slush on them. I'm looking at about a ½ an inch to 3/4 of an inch of slush on a lot of the bridges I've seen here in Rockbridge County. So if you don't have to get out, hate to be cliche once again, but try not to get out, stay inside and watch some football. Matt?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dave, for that report. Let's head up Highway 29 into Nelson County, where we go live to Katie Brook for the latest in Livingston. Katie.
Matt, the snow and really the ice, but it looks like snow here in the parking lot, continues to fall. The roads are getting increasingly worse. Just saw an ambulance leave the Nelson County Rescue Squad. So if you are out, be extremely careful. VDOT is out. They're treating the roads, but still, this ice is dangerous. And the temperature is continually dropping. The traffic has increased, or it's decreased rather. People have slowed down. It doesn't seem as safe as it was earlier today. So if you can help it, stay in, stay warm, stay off the roads, and stay safe. We'll stay with you all through the night and in the morning with continued coverage here in Livingston. Katie Brook, ABC 13 News.
And from Katie, we go live outside to our own Chief Meteorologist, Sean Sublett, who has the latest right here in Midtown Lynchburg. Sean.
Matt, thanks a lot. Now, overall, it's not horrible outside. As we kind of expected, the worst conditions are a little farther north than immediate central Virginia. We just walked outside. It's 28 degrees. And behind me, the traffic is still moving okay. I mean, it's moving almost at full speed, and the actual road beds are still largely wet, at least here in the city. Having said that, driving in from Campbell County a little earlier on this morning, there were a couple of cars that did wipe out on those bridges and overpasses. As we oftentimes will tell you, the bridges and overpasses will ice over first. They're cooled from the top and the bottom. The other reason that even though it's 28, 29 degrees outside and the roads haven't iced up, it is still daylight. And even though the sun's not out, the sun is up, and there is just enough energy getting through those clouds. Remember that the pavement is black. It absorbs a little bit of energy, and that's why the actual ground temperatures are just warm enough to keep the roads from freezing up entirely. But again, as we get closer to, say, 4 and certainly 5 o'clock, once the sun does go down, we do expect the ground temperatures to drop a little bit further. So if there's someplace you absolutely need to go, we would suggest doing it in the next 1 to 3 hours or so, because once that sun does go down, you're going to have an awfully hard time getting where you need to go. Black ice is going to be more of a concern as we go through the latter part of the evening, overnight, and first thing tomorrow morning. So we don't expect a big ice sheet over top of everything, unlike what they've had out in the Midwest, where the storm kind of initiated a couple of days ago. But it is still going to be rather tricky out there later on into the evening. But as we've been telling you before, the worst conditions do tend to be a little farther north and certainly westward from Lynchburg. Let's go back inside to Jamey Singleton and take a look at road conditions as they play out right now. Jamey.
All right, Sean, thanks a lot. And I've got the VDOT cameras up here. And before we take any of these full, I want to kind of give you an overview of what you are seeing. Sean mentioned, you know, we're really kind of touch and go. A lot of roadways to the north, as you saw in our live reports, are becoming slick, even beyond the bridges and overpasses. And new model data coming in. We just posted that to WSCT.com, and Matt's going to show you in just a second. Maybe another batch of prolonged freezing rain occurring just as the sun angle, as Sean mentioned, is getting lower. So we could see this event is nowhere near done. We could see another round that could be a little bit more on the tricky side with more impacts in terms of weighing down the trees and power lines, and certainly on the roadways as well. Now behind me, we've got here, we'll keep it full on camera just for a second. Bear with me here, but you're looking at locations along I-64, and we talk about bridges and overpasses. Let's go ahead and take the whole image full, or the whole multi-screen full, and you can see that certainly on the sides there are a lot of snow, sleet, and freezing rain off the sides. You can even see some of the grassy areas there have been coated, and that's because that colder air is able to get up underneath the bridges. But even underneath that bridge, if you look closely there, you can see some accumulation there. Let's back out of that if we can, Will, and show you the multi-panel once again. And if we can click on the top right image, I believe we will see something there. Yeah, there you see a disabled motorist or a truck or something that is in the median, and this is up around the Stanton area, getting closer to 64 north of Rockbridge County. You heard Robert Forsman say the roads are getting slicker there, and there's a bridge. You see 18-wheeler. This is live. We're able to show you here at ABC 13. There's someone getting out, hopefully getting some help from a Good Samaritan or a police officer, but this is the type of travel that we're concerned with. And we'll back out once again and show you some of the other locations here, and we'll come back on camera because I don't think there's really much to show you in terms of anything that bad. This is I-81 near Christiansburg, 118, moving okay. Maybe some slick spots here. This is going a little bit closer to the Lynchburg area, and also this is going into Bedford as well. So going around the area, just a few slick spots here and there, but majority of it is of course north of Rockbridge County near the Stanton area, where there are already some accidents out there, and that could change even for the Bedford areas as well, and the Lynchburg and Roanoke Valley areas as well as we go into the evening. Let's head over to Matt now. Matt, you've got that new computer model information. It's been sporadic so far, but maybe some more moisture heading in.
Absolutely, Jamie. Through the afternoon, we will continue to have pockets of freezing rain, but then later this afternoon into the early evening, some of the latest information actually showing that more of a widespread icing event really gets hold of the area through the late afternoon and into the early evening. Thank you so much to all of our viewers out there sending us photos of what's happening in your neighborhood. Here's a picture. This comes to us from Caitlin here. The ice in Chatham, showing you the ice there along the rails of the stairs outside of the house. This one comes to us from Brandon in Amherst County. The ice there on the front of that vehicle. And then right here in Lynchburg, it's been an icy mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. And you can see on top of the vehicle there some sleet on top of the vehicle, and then on top of the railing on top of the car there, you can see that freezing rain. So here's a look at the radar. Again, it is scattered in nature right now as far as freezing rain and sleet. Most of the snow has pretty much come to an end, and through the afternoon we will see this fill in as we do have the latest information showing another wave of moisture moving our way. It's 29 right here in Lynchburg, 33 in Danville, and 27 in Blacksburg. You can see across North Carolina into Tennessee, northern Georgia, more precipitation that is moving in our backyard, and we'll be here later this afternoon even more toward the Gulf Coast states, moving through Mississippi, Alabama, into Louisiana. Again, all this is marching in our direction. So here's Futurecast showing more of a widespread event later this afternoon and into the evening. You can see all the way from Hot Springs southward to Danville, and from Richmond all the way back into Blacksburg, wintry precipitation, mainly in the form of freezing rain. Then for this evening, pockets of freezing rain and rain through the overnight, and then for tomorrow, temperatures rise highs above the freezing mark, so it's just a cold rain for us, but all that begins to move out of here as we head into Monday afternoon, Monday evening. So here is the potential as far as ice for this afternoon and tonight. Keep in mind, any amounts of ice and a bit of a breeze could cause power outages, so that's definitely a possibility, especially north and west of Lynchburg through the afternoon, where we could see up to an inch in some locations of snow and ice, around a half of an inch or less across central Virginia, around a quarter of an inch along the south side to a thin coating. And for the afternoon, not only will we be dealing with the potential for ice on trees and power lines causing those outages, but also, if you can, just stay at home, because as you heard earlier in this brief newscast, we are continuing to see icy spots develop around the region. Temperatures overnight tonight hold in the lower 30s as we head through Monday, looking at rain showers around, highs in the middle 40s. Rain showers move out on Tuesday. A lot of sunshine with highs in the 30s to lower 40s for Wednesday through Friday, overnight lows in the 20s. And keep in mind, you can always send us more photos. We would love to see what's happening in your neighborhood. Send them to weather@WSCT.com. That's coverage you can count on. We'll have more coverage of this winter storm